In this video, we will show you how to replace your rear window regulator on this Honda Accord. This will be located inside of your rear door. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. To gain access to that window regulator, we're going to have to remove the door panel. To remove the door panel, we're going to remove this trim panel. Use a plastic trim tool for this. We don't want to scar our paint. Quick inspection, set that aside. We'll move from there over to our inside door handle. To remove the inside door handle, you're going to find that it has a Phillips head screw, and commonly there's a plastic cover. If there's a plastic cover, go ahead and pop that out of the way, and then you can remove the screw. Use an angled pick for this if necessary. Quick inspection of your mounting hardware. As you remove it, replace it as necessary. Removing the door handle, you want to go ahead and slide this and pull it away from the door. But keep in mind that it does have a rod that leads to the door handle, and it also has a wiring harness that leads to the window switch. You're going to have to disconnect those. Looking along the backside where the rod is located, you're going to find that you have a plastic hook on the inside door handle. You'll have to dislodge that from the rod. Go ahead and slide that right out of the way. Once you have that slid out of there, you should be able to lift up on the rod, pulling it away from the inside door handle. Disconnect the window switch. Squeeze on the locking tab and pull it out of place. A quick inspection for corrosion. We'll set the wiring aside. Make your way to your grab handle. In the center of this, you're going to find that you have another Phillips head screw holding it in place. There could be a protective cover. You've got the cover, just go ahead and pop that out of the way just like before. Now we can continue on to removing the door panel from the door. Before you start pulling it away, you want to pay attention down along the bottom. If you have a courtesy light, it will have a wiring harness leading to the backside. To remove the door panel from the door, you're going to be using a plastic trim tool so you don't cause any damage to the paint of your vehicle. We'll start down along the bottom here, carefully pulling it away from the door. There are several push clips that make their way from the door panel to the door itself. Once you have it dislodged along the bottom, we're going to be lifting it up. You want to make it up and above that door lock knob. Let's disconnect this. Now the lock for it is in a very weird angle. You have to come from the backside there to squeeze on it. Remove your door panel. With the door panel out of the way, let's remove this mounting bracket. It's held in place with 3 Phillips head mounting screws. Remove all 3 on the bracket from the door. A quick inspection and set it aside. Move along to removing the vapor barrier from the area. As you start pulling it away, you want to be careful not to tear it because you will be reusing this. It's typically held in place with some butyl tape. This is extremely dried up at this point. Pay attention to that rod. Let's continue making our way across. The next thing you'll want to do is tape the window in the upright position. Once you've done that, we'll continue on down along this area to remove 2 10mm headed mounting bolts holding the window to the window regulator. Now these are a little bit difficult to see, but if you were to look straight inside there, you're going to find them. Continue on to your wiring harness for the window motor. You know what to do. We'll press in on that locking tab and pull this out of place. Tuck that inside the door. Next, we have several 10mm headed mounting bolts that can dislodge the window regulator and the window motor from the door. We'll start with the window regulator. Up in this top left corner, you can loosen this bolt, but leave it in just a couple threads. Let's fully remove the other 2 for the regulator itself. If you're to reach inside the door, you should be able to move that around a little bit. We'll pause with that and make our way over to the motor. For the motor, you have 3 10mm headed mounting bolts. Once again, we'll loosen the first one and fully remove the other 2. Carefully take hold of the window motor and lift it up and out of position. Now for this last bolt, we're going to reach inside, hold onto the window regulator, and fully remove that mounting bolt. Remove the window regulator and the window motor from your door. And there it is, friend. Let's get ready to install our brand new rear window regulator. Make sure you have it in the proper positioning. The areas that we want to pay attention to is the mounting points on the regulator portion itself. We want to make sure we have that facing towards where the door would be, and we have the window channel along the back side there. We also want to make sure we have the cables coming from along the top of the regulator all the way over to where the motor is going to be located. And at that point, you want to make sure that you have it so you can put it in the proper position and align the studs from your brand new window regulator with the door. Start putting this in here. Take hold of that window motor, and we're going to get it in the proper position in the door. Once you feel as though you have it in the proper positioning, we'll make sure that we start on the mounting nuts. Now it's time for the window regulator. We'll take that and get it in position as well. Let's snug them up. Let's tighten the mounting nuts on our brand new window motor over here. Now it's time for the wiring harness. We'll take this and slide it through the port, plug it in, listen for a click. Double check to make sure it's properly secured. We'll go ahead and remove the little tab here, and behind that there's a Phillips head screw. Removing the door handle, you want to go ahead and slide this and pull it away from the door, but keep in mind that it does have a rod that leads to the door handle. At this point, we're going to reconnect our window switch wiring harness here to the window switch. Put the key in the on position. With the key in the on position, we're going to power the window regulator up. While we're powering it up, we need to be paying attention inside of the door. Firstly, never put your hands inside of the door while you're functioning this. This is extremely important. Other than that, while we're taking a peek behind here, we want to make sure that the window regulator comes up on our side of the window, so on the inboard side. After that, we can put in our 2 10mm headed mounting bolts. If it feels as though it does not want to align, once again, do not put your hands inside. Use an angled pick to take hold of it and slide it into the proper positioning. There's one side. There we go. At this point, let's turn off key power. Once you have that aligned, install your 2 10mm headed mounting bolts. We'll start them in and snug them up. Remove your support from your window. Now we're going to test the window functionality. With the key in the on position, once again, we'll make sure that we power this all the way down and all the way to the fully upright position. Assuming it functions properly, we'll continue on. Battery's a little low, that's okay. Perfect. Remove key power and disconnect your switch. Now we can install our vapor barrier. When we do so, we want to make sure that we try to apply it into its original position. You also want to make sure that the rod for your door handle is on the outboard side here so you can gain access to that. Let's go ahead and bring it over and press it into position. Now we can continue on to our bracket. We'll get this aligned and start in all 3 of our mounting screws. Now that they're started, let's snug them up. Now we can install the door panel. We'll start with the wiring harness down along the bottom. Looking along the back side of the door panel, you'll find that you have several push clips making their way around. We want to take note of that. We'll also take note of the fact that up along the top, you will have to make sure that the door lock knob makes its way up through this port. Aside from that, we do have the wiring harness. You want to make sure that's making its way through here as well. Now, while holding it out down along the bottom, we're going to continue by pressing the top in the proper position. One last check for that wiring harness. You want to make sure you can easily grab hold of that. At this point, the door panel should align with the door properly. Go ahead and press it in. Double check to make sure it's properly secured. Install your grab handle. Got our Phillips head mounting screw right in the center there. Go ahead and start it in, snug it up. If you have a protective cover, go ahead and slide that over, lock it in. Now it's time for the inside door handle. When we go to install this, we have our rod for the door handle itself. On that, it has that locking tab. You want to make sure that you slide the rod down and in, and then swing this over to lock the rod in. Continuing on, we'll also have that electrical connector. You want to make sure that you have that connected as well. Once we have everything connected, we'll be pressing this in and sliding it towards the left to lock it in, and then we can install our mounting bolt. Just pull on that rod. Slide it down in there. Swing this over. Double check to make sure that's completely secure. Let's get the wiring harness on there. Listen for a click. We'll give it a little tug. Let's get this aligned. Press it in, slide it over. At this point, your mounting hole should be aligned. Let's get that mounting bolt in there. Install your protective cover. Now it's time for our corner piece. Get this in position, press it in.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.